It's strange, isn't it, how some of the grandest opportunities are born in the quietest corners, like little wildflowers breaking through concrete where nobody looks. Tonight, I find myself staring at Cardano. Yes, Cardano, that coin everyone left behind, and I can't help but wonder, are we watching the death of an idea or the slow germination of something extraordinary? I need you to walk with me on this one, because what's happening beneath Cardano's surface isn't just numbers or lines on a chart. It's the clash between despair and hope, between capitulation and accumulation. If stories like this move you, if you find meaning in these journeys, go ahead and subscribe to Crypto 101 Central and click on that little bell icon to make sure you never miss when I share what keeps me up at night. Because some things you only understand in the company of kindred spirits, and I want you there. Cardano hovers just above a quarter, not dollars but cents. 90% has dissolved from its peak, as if it slipped soundlessly through our fingers while we watched flashier coins dance in the light. People call it forgotten, as if neglect alone could kill a dream. But here's what everyone misses. In the darkness, Cardano isn't hibernating, it's building. Movements ripple under the frozen surface, slow but relentless. That stillness is deceptive, and I know it because I've felt it before, in the silences of my own life where something better was brewing just out of sight. Some years ago, Cardano reminded the world of possibility. Now it is barely number 13, peering up at the top 10 like a child pressed against frosted glass. Its fall was almost poetic, this steady leak of attention, the loss of spotlight to Solana's wild parties and glittering meme coins. Are we nothing? Some ask, except the sum of where we spend our focus. Cardano's story is different. It chose to grow roots where the world could not see. While others chase spectacle, here came governance updates, patient, deliberate, the way trees anchor themselves before they breach the soil. Yet I won't idealize it, won't wrap it in silk. I have to be honest, painfully so. Cardano became dull. It missed the madness of the stablecoin bull run, stumbling into the festivities only after everyone else had drunk their fill. Without oceans of liquid money stable enough to bet the farm, Cardano DeFi felt like a quiet summer house, waiting for guests who never arrived. Total value locked? A modest 150 to 300 million, barely a ripple beside the great tidal waves crashing elsewhere. But what if I told you that history rarely smiles on the obvious? Some of the most powerful revolutions start out as whispers. While Cardano moved at the pace of glaciers, it never once lost its direction. Forward, into the Voltaire era, the year when it would apologize no more for being slow. The Genesis keys, those final chains to central authority, were destroyed, not by fanfare, but by silent certainty. Governance is now a tapestry woven by everyone who holds ADA, every delegated voice, over $600 million, all pooled in a community treasury no one can command alone. A kind of silent democracy, fragile and beautiful. Still, the landscape isn't lush. I look out and see DeFi's fields are narrow and barren by comparison. But when I dig deeper, I find Hydra, Cardano's technology for instant off-chain transactions, already pulsing quietly beneath the ground. And on the horizon, midnight. In just a few months, large businesses will be able to reveal just enough to stay in line with the law and nothing more. The age of total exposure is fading. Here, privacy feels less like secrecy and more like dignity, the right to be seen only as we choose. Charts. Now, this is when memory yawns open, letting all the could-have-beens run wild. If you'd bought Cardano in early 2021, the numbers would have soared past you. 1,000% gains, enough to taste something like courage or luck. But if you missed the timing, if you clung tight through winter after winter, you'd be nearly back to where you started. The present is a tightrope. Crucial support gets tested and tested again, the price teetering as if daring gravity to do its worst. The next step below, 4 cents. A chasm that could swallow 80% of your hope in one gulp. But the weekly RSI screams that we are the most oversold in a long, long time. At this edge, where fear and opportunity become indistinguishable, I wonder, are we ready to leap, or do we brace for another fall? Late last year, we stood at this very brink. The pattern repeats now. Support holds, RSI oversold, and the grim choreography of the death cross writes itself in the charts. Sometimes, these are just technicalities, but sometimes, they are the universe's whisper. Now is the moment to open your palms. to gather what others throw away. If support stands, maybe this little candle is the bottom of the cycle. If not, well, the abyss waits, patient as ever. Is it all just Cardano's burden to carry, or is something larger stirring? The wider economy is shifting, ever so slightly, like a late thaw on hard ground. I watch the Purchasing Managers Index, 52.6, a number that matters more than people admit. Over 50 has always meant energy and optimism streaming back into the veins of markets. Crypto, which feeds on risk, thrives in this light. But, and here comes the familiar ache, the world hasn't turned the money tap back on yet. No quantitative easing, no great flood of new dollars. For the next real rally, history says, wait for the Fed's hand. Only then will the dry riverbeds don their greenery again. That day may be closer. With Kevin Walsh taking the helm at the Federal Reserve, hopes for those soft low rates flicker again in the background. Walsh, they whisper, was brought for one reason, to loosen the grip and let liquidity dance once more. Perhaps he will. I have lived too long to trust certainty, but the pieces on the board are shifting in our favor. Let's dare to run the numbers for 2026. I cradle two scenarios, one bright, one shadowed, as always. We balance on simple variables. Cardano's slice of the crypto pie, the market's total size. Once, at its wildest, Cardano owned 5% of every crypto dollar. Now it claims just 4%. If the global market cap climbs to $9 trillion, an unfathomable number, but not impossible, we can play out two little stories. First, a modest run. Cardano crawls back to a 1% share, which would make its market cap $90 billion. Every token trades for about $2.50, a return to former highs, not glory but vindication. The tortoise, not the hare. Or perhaps Cardano roars. Regaining 2.5% market dominance, just half the glory days, would push the market cap to $225 billion, every ADA worth around $6.25. A new high, not of feverish mania, but of quiet triumph built over years. Now, I cannot lie about the other possibility. Suppose the money never comes. If the Fed keeps its hands closed and risk appetite stays dry, the market bleeds. Hype withers, and all our hopefuls return to cold earth. Cardano's price slips gracelessly to 4 cents, the place where tired traders accumulate, hoping for the spring. An 80% drop, yes, but also a page in a longer story. In light of that, here's the cadence of my own approach. For me, ADA is a name I'll only write onto my ledger when liquidity returns. I want to see not just green shoots, but visible strength. A true shift in structure. A reason beyond hope. First, I wait for the Fed to open its wallet. Only then do I seek a retracement, a hidden door back in. And should fortune rise, my plan is as measured as a heartbeat. When ADA crosses $1.30, I lock in half my winnings. Memory can betray, but profit is forever. If we reach $2.50, the level of that first scenario, the shadow of the old highs, I take another third. Let the rest ride, if the fates are kind, until we climb toward that sunlit crest of $6.25. No more, no less. I have learned that in markets, as in life, wisdom is knowing when enough is enough. If you've been following this story, if the winding path of Cardano stirs something inside you, give this video a like. Tell me in the comments, where do you see Cardano in 2026? Are you holding on for the dawn, or do you think the night will outlast us? Every honest voice adds another hue to the picture we paint together, and I want to hear yours. For journeys like this, there are no middle grounds left, only the possible and the impossible, endlessly entwined. Cardano might yet become more than a beautiful ghost. It might be the catalyst for a new chapter, or the last song of a silent chain. The future isn't promised, but it is built, word by word, block by block, belief by belief. Thank you for sharing this electric uncertainty with me. If you haven't done so, subscribe to Crypto 101 Central and ring that bell so you never miss the next leg of this journey. There are more stories to tell, more truths to uncover. Watch another video, and I'll be waiting there. Until next time, take care.